What's up guys, David here, and a question that I get asked all the time, whether it's here on YouTube or on Facebook or Twitter, is, hey David, what phone do you personally use as your daily driver? And it's a good question, right? I mean, I have access to all these phones, I get to test all these phones, and because we have them here at the office, I can switch back and forth between them whenever I want. But before I answer the question of which phone I'm using right now, let's jump back to 2012 when PhoneBuff really started picking up steam and kind of work our way back up. So we'll start off with the Galaxy Nexus, which being a pure Android fan at heart was my go-to phone in 2012. But then I switched to the Galaxy S3 and then another Samsung phone in the Galaxy Note 2. From there I switched to the HTC One M7 and then back to Samsung with the Note 3. I tried the Galaxy S5 for a little bit before switching to the iPhone 6 Plus, which was actually the first time I'd ever went with an iPhone as my daily driver. I used the iPhone 6 Plus for almost a full year before I switched back to Android with the Note 5 in late 2015, which brings us to 2016. So from all of these phones here, I've actually only used 3 of them as my daily driver so far. The first was the Galaxy S7 Edge. As coming from the Note 5 and loving the Note 5, it was the easy choice, offering an even better screen, a better camera, water and dust resistance, and a bunch of other little features that I just had to have. But I didn't switch to just any S7 Edge. Even though I live here in the US, I went with the international variant with the Exynos processor since it was so much faster than the Snapdragon variant. And I have to say, that experience was probably one of the best smartphone experiences I have ever had. The phone just felt fully loaded and for the most part it had all the bases covered. But there was one problem. The Exynos variant doesn't support full LTE and Samsung Pay here in the US. And while it may do for a while, eventually the slow data speeds got to me and I decided, what the hell, I'll go with the S7 Edge with the Snapdragon variant and just give it a shot. And for a while, the slower performance didn't really bother me until about a few months into it where it started to really bog down. I remember going to my car and I was getting ready to leave work. I was texting my girlfriend and trying to get my music started before I drove off, and the phone just locked up on me. And then the same thing happened the next week. So I got fed up with it to the point where I just wanted a phone that was fast and had fast data, which led me to the phone that I am using today, and that phone is the Oneplus 3. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. David, why are you using a $400 phone when you have a $700 phone or even an $800 phone that is way better? And honestly, I ask myself the same thing. I mean, I know that overall the S7 Edge and especially the Note 7 is a better phone. But the thing is, while the better screen and the better camera and all the other bells and whistles are nice and definitely make the smartphone experience better, for me, there's one thing that can kill even the best smartphone experience, which is a relatively slow and laggy phone. So without giving up Android, which if you can tell based off the phones that I've used in the past, I'm generally an Android guy, the Oneplus 3 was my best option. If you've seen the speed test with the Oneplus 3, you know that it's the fastest Android phone available right now with 6GB of RAM and an optimized UI. So the thing just flies, but at the same time, I do miss the better screen, the better camera, and all the other features that came with the Galaxy phones. So there's this trade-off that you have to make, and at the moment, I'm trading the best screen and the best camera available on Android for the best performance and arguably the best customization available on Android. There's definitely other things I like about the OnePlus that you can't get on any of these other phones, but it really boils down to those two things. It's a personal preference, of course, and there's all different sorts of ways you can look at it. If you want the best overall smartphone and you like Android, you can go with the Note 7. If you like iOS and want the best overall smartphone, you can go with the iPhone 7 Plus. If you want a really good smartphone and maybe a smartwatch to go along with it for a price that's less than either of these two, you can go with the OnePlus 3. Or maybe you just want a wide-angle camera, which you can get on the LG G5. It comes down to personal preference. All these phones offer a unique combination of pros and cons, and that's exactly why we do the reasons comparisons here at PhoneBuff. But as of right now, the phone that claims the spot in my pocket is the OnePlus 3. Will that change? Yeah, most likely. I'm actually really thinking about switching to the iPhone 7 Plus, where I can get the fastest performance on any smartphone without having to give up things like an awesome camera, a great screen, and water and dust resistance. But of course, if I do that, I'll have to give up Android, which is a completely different argument. Or who knows, maybe those rumored Pixel phones from Google will be enough to keep me on Android. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know if you guys want a follow-up video on whether I do or don't switch phones down below in the comments. Let me know what features features are most important to you in a smartphone. But anyways, that is it for me in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the very next episode.